Okay, so I'll start by introducing myself. Aloha kako. My name is Kumu Kainoa Bowman. I am the 6th grade team lead this year, and I'm also your Keiki Social Studies Kumu. And so I'll be leading us through tonight's back to school night presentation. You'll notice here that Papa Eono is known as Na'apapane. So each of our grade levels are assigned a bird kind of to represent their features, and our Na'apapane are the energetic ones that make their way into our kulawaina with so much joy and so much excitement, and really is a great way to capture their personality. And so we refer to our haumana as Na'apapane every year. So our team, we really pride ourselves on being a high energy bunch of folks. And I may not be delivering that right now because Zoom is so awkward, but we really pride ourselves on making school a fun place to be for our students. And so we tried to capture that in these photos here. And in order to help you kind of see that, we're going to play a little bit of a game. So Dr. Corcoran got us started with a little bit of who do you think match the particular trait. But tonight we're going to be playing 2 truths and 1 JK. And so what I'm going to do is for each of our kumu, I'm going to read off 3 facts about them. 2 of them are true and 1 of them is not true. And so in the chat, we're going to try and see or try and guess which of the 3 statements are in fact a JK, a just kidding. And then each kumu will take a moment to tell you a little bit more about what they teach and what your child might expect in their course this year. Okay, are we ready to get started? I'm going to imagine the loud studio audience roar of like The Price is Right or something in the background, but it's just silent because it's Zoom, and that's okay. This is why we're back to school, because you know it's we like the energy of being in class. So up first, our first kumu is Mrs. Lee. And so her 2 truths and 1 JK, does she or did she love to read when she was in the 6th grade? Is she a national board certified teacher? Or is she teaching herself how to skateboard? So of those 3, 1 of them is false. And so in the chat right now, 1, 2, or 3, which of these do you think is false? I'm seeing a lot of 1s, a lot of 3s. Okay, looks like it's slowing down a little bit. Mrs. Lee, would you like to hop on and share with us your JK and then tell us a little bit more about your class?
Certainly. So aloha kako, my name is Holly Lee, and I'm going to be your child's English language arts teacher this year. I think some parents had some help from their keiki, because I did share this in class with students as part of our nameplate activity. So I'm really happy that students were actually listening and engaged when I introduced myself. So number 1 is my JK. It's true. I actually really despised reading and writing when I was in 6th grade. And it wasn't until I got a phenomenal teacher in college that I really developed a passion for both of those things. And so I share that because I hope that I am able to ignite that passion in all of our haumana this year, if it's not already there. So in English language arts, we focus on reading, but we do not just literature, but we also do informational text. Excuse me, because the majority of what students are actually going to encounter in the real world is going to be informational. We also do writing. We do informative, argumentative, and narrative writing. We work on speaking and listening, which is actually one of my favorite things that we do. So we're going to be participating in a lot of debates. So get ready, parents. I'm arming them to come home and argue with you respectfully. And last but not least, we also work on vocabulary development. I'm super excited to have you all with me this year, and I look forward to developing our pilina and our partnership as we work together. Mahalo.
All right, mahalo, Mrs. Lee. Up next, we have Mrs. Late Ayo. Now, Of these three statements, we're going to type in the chat which one we think is false. So first, does she milk her goat every morning? Is she 7 months pregnant? Does she speak French? Which of those three is not true? Let's see it in the chat. 1, 2, or 3, not true. A lot of threes there. Couple of ones as well. All right, Kumulate IO, can you go ahead and share with us your JK and tell us a little bit more about your class?
Absolutely. Aloha, everybody. I am Mrs. Late Ayo, and I got you. I actually do speak French. I lived in France for a year. I was in Grenoble, or Grenoble, as they would pronounce it, and that's at the foot of the Alps. So that was a long time ago, but I do speak French. So that is my truth. My JK is actually that I don't milk my goat every morning. I don't know how to milk a goat. I wish I did, because my goat did have a little baby about a year ago, and I never learned how to milk it, and now it doesn't have any more milk. But I do have 4 goats, so that picture is kind of truthful, but I don't milk it every morning. So welcome to the new school year. I'm so happy that we have all these new haumana in class. It's been wonderful to see them face to face and kind of go through our boot camp together. They learned a lot today, not necessarily about my class, but just about how to function in 6th grade. So next week, we will really go through our course syllabus. We'll learn more about each other. And I will be sharing all of that information with you too, all of our makua. And so these are the topics you can see on the slide that we'll be covering. And that may or may not mean much to you, but all of that we will do from a lens of how do we apply it in our real world. So I'm really excited for our haumana to dive right in and to get active with mathematics. And I truly believe that everyone can access the math. And so my job is really to help each and every one of you get there. So be watching your email, because I will be sending one to all of the ohana, and I'll be sharing my course syllabus, same one I'll share with the haumana. That'll give you a little more detail about the class, what to expect, and any communication that you should need with me can happen through the email. Looking forward to this school year. Mahalo.
All right, mahalo, Mrs. Late Ayo. Okay, up next, Papa Olelo Hawai'i. So Kumumele is our Papa Olelo Hawai'i teacher, and these 3 statements about her, one of them is false. So is it number 1, that she has a twin sister? Is it number 2, that she once lived in Japan? Or is it number 3, that she is able to speak 5 languages? Let's see which one you think is false. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of 3s. I see a couple of 1s. Oh, there was a 2 there, 1s and 3s and 1s and 3s. Couple of 2s. Okay, it looks like we're slowing down in the chat. And unfortunately, Kumumele can't be with us this evening. She actually had to be away on Oahu. So her 1 JK is that she cannot actually speak 5 languages. We do all know that she does Olelo Hawai'i and she does speak English. The other 3, no. This year in Papa Olelo Hawai'i, some of the topics that students will be learning how to speak in, they'll be learning how to talk about the ohana, how to talk about their kula, their school, their hale, their home, kula iwi, their hana no eo, and mea ai. All of those things will be done in our Olelo Hawai'i program has really evolved over the last few years, where our students will be immersed in the language as a way of learning and teaching. And so they can expect to come to class each day and speak Hawaiian and experience Hawaiian language. And so it's really exciting to see our Olelo Hawai'i program grow here at Hawaii campus. And we hope that your keiki enjoy it. You'll be able to find more information about Kumumele's class on her Canvas page. And she will be back on campus next Tuesday. So those students who have her on Monday, you can expect a substitute teacher on that day. Okay, let's move on to our next kumu. All right, up next is Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson is our PE teacher. Now, which of these 3 statements about her do you think is a JK? Is just kidding. Was she on a professional water ski team? Did she deliver her 2 boys with a midwife at home? Or does she want to become a professional dog trainer? Which of those 3 is not true. Go ahead and type it in the chat. Some 3s. I see a 1. There's 2, 3s, 1s. 3s and 1s seem really popular. 3s. All right, it looks like it's slowing down. Mrs. Thompson, you want to tell us which one's a JK and a little more about your class?
Well, as much as I love water skiing on the lake in Maine, I was not on a professional water ski team. I learned to ski when I was about 20 years old. So I'd like to say that I'm not that good, but I love it. So yeah, that one's the JK. The other two. I love dogs and I did have my kids at home. It was crazy. Anyway, so swimming actually will be kind of our first thing we get into, sixth graders. So remember to bring your stuff. Well, actually, most of you guys will be wearing your stuff to school. Okay, so we are a little bit different this year where we do not have to change at school. So for PE days and for swim days, boys, especially swim days, you can wear your black swimsuit bottoms and your PE top. Bring your towel and all that stuff will be listed and you'll have all the information, but you're going to have all that with you. And after swim, we'll change into our PE clothes, or you can also change into your school uniform, up to you. Okay, there's not going to be super strict on that this year. We're not really going to use the locker rooms. We will be able to change in the bathrooms and in the locker room in the high school by the pool. So girls, I will talk to you more, but because most of you have it later on in the day, you are able to wear your PE uniform to school on the swim days, change into your swimsuit during a break. And I'll discuss that later. You should have a one-piece suit, hopefully black, and bring your towel, and I'll give you more details with that. But we'll be doing some really, really, really great stuff with swimming. If you're nervous at all, don't be. I take it really slow. I have a really great program. You guys are going to learn some serious skills. So I'm excited about that. That's one of my passions for that. So biking, we will also have you guys for sanitary reasons. If you can bring a helmet, that's great. I do have some extras and I do spray them. If you forget, just kind of better to have your helmet fitting you. Speak to me if you have any problems with that. And running, I told the kids we're going to do about up to 10 miles. And then they gave me a sigh. I'm like, no, just kidding. We'll work up from a 0.5 to a mile to a 1.5 and work on form and building endurance. So don't worry about that as well. We're all going to get strong together. Fitness and dance and step aerobics and some band work, some functional fitness with body weight training. And then health and wellness, all kinds of stuff in health, from the triangle of physical, mental health, and social health. We'll be doing all kinds of stuff. So excited. And I do love what I teach. So glad you're here, you guys. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. I see a question in the chat, and I figured since it's about PE, if we could answer that right now. I have a question that says, can they use jammers?
So honestly, I don't really know what that is, but I think it's a swim thing. Is it a swim thing? Somebody who asked that, you can just speak up.
Yes, I'm seeing yes in the chat.
Yeah. If you're a swimmer and you feel comfortable with that, and you can wear a swim cap, you can wear a rash guard. Boys or girls can wear a rash guard. Girls, you can wear swim shorts over your one-piece suit. It's really, really pretty open as far as that goes. You can't swim in your PE shirt, and you can't swim in a shirt. It has to be a rash guard. But if you have questions about what that would be, please just ask me at school, email me. But yes, you can wear jammers and you can wear your, things to get yourself really going fast in the pool. So no problem.
And then one more question regarding swimsuits. We're having in Ohana having trouble finding a swimsuit. Do you have any suggestions? Oh, I'm seeing some in the chat. Thank you, Ohana, for jumping in and helping out too. Love it.
Yeah, we had some good deals on Amazon for a black swimsuit, and they're nice, they're comfortable. They're either Speedo or TYR. There's a couple really good options. And honestly, black is best. One piece, doesn't matter what brand, but whatever feels, is comfortable. And actually, I think Target had some. So just keeping it simple, black, blue, dark blue if you have to, but just email me if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ohana, for jumping in with that as well. Okay, let's move on to our next course. And we'll also have some question and answer time at the end too. So if there's something that you haven't asked, you're like, oh, I didn't type it in, we'll have some time for that as well. Okay, up next is science. Mr. Tominaga is our science teacher, and here are his 3 statements, and we're going to guess which one is not true. So number 1, is he a certified wilderness first responder? Did he collect comic books as a kid? Does he love to rock climb and rappel? Let us know in the chat which you think is false. It's a little slow, this one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, it's very diverse here. Okay, I've seen a bunch of 2s now. Bunch of 2s.
It sounds like kumakaino. Can I see? That is kumakaino.
Aloha Kako, if we could please mute our microphones right now. Yes, it is me. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like it's slowed down a little bit. Mr. Tominaga, you mind jumping in and telling us which of yours is a JK and then a little more about your class?
All right, aloha mai kako. Actually, jokes on you, they're all true. No, I loved collecting comic books as a kid. I was an Avengers fan before it came out in a movie. And I was a certified wilderness first responder. However, that has long since expired. So the just kidding would be number 1. I went to school in Colorado, so I really picked up rock climbing and rappelling, and I enjoy doing that yet today. But I am no longer a certified wilderness first responder, which is a good thing because, well, I don't need to worry because in science, we're going to be safe this year. And so first responder will not be necessary. That's the plan anyway. Okay. So anyway, this year in science, 6th grade science focuses on the physical sciences. However, my background was really outdoors. So I try and introduce the physical sciences to the lens of being outside. Okay, so the science we're going to be looking at is, as you can see, observations and experimentation, collecting data and interpreting what that means, problem solving and connections to current and historical events. I really like to make science relevant. Science, I really believe that science is all around us. And when kids can see that, they can make those connections, not only to the outside, but they're going to see that science is connected to all the different content areas that they're going to be studying. So one of the nice things about Papaiono is that there is a lot of communication between the kumu, and a lot of times they're going to see connections between something they're doing in ELA or something they're doing in social studies, and they're going to see that connected to science as well. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing in science. I really appreciate the feedback from the kids. Really, we're trying to develop, have students develop their voice in 6th grade. We're really preparing them for high school. So we really want to get them to question, to ask us. And so I've told all the haumana that I've seen so far that, in science, it's always okay to question. If something doesn't seem right, just ask me. And I want to encourage that, from the get-go. So, and, for parents, if you guys have any questions, same thing, shoot me an email and I'll try and get back as soon as possible. Right? Mahalo.
All right. Thank you, Mr. T. Up next. Oh, it's me. All right. Kumu Kainoa for social studies. Now, 3 statements. We got to guess which one we think is false. So first, am I an avid video gamer? Or was I a cook before becoming a teacher? Or did I earn my only D in high school in my social studies class? So let's see. Do you think 1, 2, or 3 is false? 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1. Okay, I'm seeing a lot. Well, it's actually kind of mixed. Okay, a lot of 3s, a lot of 3s. All righty. Well, unfortunately, I wish I could say that number 3 was false, but that is not false. The only D I ever got was kind of similar to Mrs. Lee's situation, where I was in like a not so great social studies class. I didn't love it. and got my first and only D in high school in that class. I was not a cook. That is something that I was not. I do love to cook, but not something that that I did before. So a little bit about my course. The topic of my social studies course is ancient civilizations. And so we'll be learning about ancient cultures such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, ancient China, ancient India, and ancient Greece. We'll also be looking at the agricultural revolution, so where people learn how to farm. And we'll be trying to align some of that learning to Native Hawaiian history as well, so that we can see ourselves as a people in the history that we'll be studying in my class. It helps to make it a little bit more relevant for our students and really ties into everything that we're trying to do this year at our Kula with OEV Edge and try to put Indigenous learning at the forefront. Other things that we'll be doing in class this year, we'll be learning how to search the internet effectively, efficiently, and safely. We'll be learning how to find out if a source that we're using in class is okay to use or if it's potentially false or harmful, which is a very important skill in the modern world today. And finally, we'll be learning how to cite our sources and create bibliographies so that we can give credit to the information that we use on a regular basis. So looking forward to working with everyone this year. These last couple of days have been really great just to meet all of the new students in class. And you can find more information about my course on my Canvas page. You'll find my syllabus there, and I'll be going over that in class on Monday and Tuesday with students, and that'll also be available for you to access at any time. Okay, on to the next one. Up next, we have our counselor, Kumu Kalawai'a. So we've got his 3 statements. We're going to go ahead and try and guess which of these is false. Was he a member of his high school band? Is he building an off-grid cabin? Or did he compete in a speech competition while he was in middle school? Go ahead and let us know in the chat which you think is not true. I'm seeing a lot of 3s, some 2s. 3 feels like the popular choice. A couple of 1s in there as well. Okay, it looks like it's slowing down a little bit. Kumu Kalawai'a, you want to unmute and let us know a little bit about what you do for us and tell us which one is your JK.
Aloha mai kako, everyone. Great to see everyone here this evening. Unfortunately, 3 is true. Actually, 8th grade, I competed in a speech competition, and I had an English teacher that really inspired us Kolohe boys, and she was super maikai with us, and that just really kind of gave me some inspiration to not only be all about sports, but also academics. So definitely my 8th grade English teacher was like super maikai for me. I am building an off-grid cabin on Maui. There's some family land, so every chance I get, I try to get there and work on it. It's a project of love and challenges, definitely. And I was not in my band in high school. I play music. I know for those of you in Kalihiao, I introduced myself as far as playing music, but I was not into band just because I was so involved with sports and other stuff. So yeah, JK number 1. So for those of you who have not seen me at the new student orientation or at Kalihiao, I'm Kumu Kalawai'a. I am the grade level school counselor. And I think the most significant thing is I will be part of your child's middle school experience from 6th grade to 8th grade. I'm there for them. I'm maybe at a point of nagging, but that's okay. An extension, hopefully, of you. And my intention is that we continue to have that communication between the school and home, and we address your child's academic, college and career, as well as social and personal development through our core curriculum, as well as individual and small group settings. If you have any questions, you can call me, email me. I have to apologize. I'm out on quarantine. I actually return on Monday, so I'll get to see everyone face to face. I did have my my core curriculum classes via Zoom yesterday and today, which was a interesting challenge in itself. But yeah, I'll see everyone on Monday. Can't wait. And yeah, mahalo.
All right, mahalo kumukalawai'a. Okay, another familiar face that your keiki will see on campus is Mrs. Pacheco, and she is our educational assistant. And so these three statements about her, we're going to try and guess which of those is a JK. So did she dance hula for inter-island visitors at the boat harbor? Or was she a competitive ocean swimmer? Or does she have 4 dogs, 9 water turtles, and 3 koi fish? Type in the chat and let's see what you think is the JK. Oh, a lot of 2s in there. Okay, so looks like the popular opinion is number 2, and that is in fact her JK. Mrs. Pacheco can't be with us this evening. She actually starts very early with us at school. She starts at about 6:30 in the morning. She has a lot of kuleana on campus. And so your keiki will see her as a kumu kokua. So she may be in our different classrooms providing assistance to the teachers. She's also there to kokua students. You'll see her out on supervision as well. She's at the bus ramp in the morning, as well as doing 6th grade recess supervision. And so everybody will get a chance to know her very well. And finally, she's got a new role this year. So she's a part of our HPK. That is our computer and technology support group. So she'll be there to help with laptop issues as well. We're so lucky to have her, and she is such an essential part of our team. And so that is basically our 6th grade core team in a nutshell. Mr. Arakaki, who also teaches some 6th grade math students, he's in the main room right now. So if you have specific questions for him, you know that's your Kiki's math teacher, you can hop into the main room to ask him questions as well. But before you do that, I want to just go over a couple of things that we as a team typically tend to share when we have our Ohana nights. And so some tips for success as your child transitions into middle school, especially for those of you, this is your first keiki in middle school. We've seen it all. Between all of us on this team, we've got at least 60 to 70 years of collective middle school experience. And so we've seen a whole bunch. One of our best suggestions is to just check your child's planner and Chaos Connect regularly. We recommend at least once a week, we use an oops missing stamp. And that's an indication that a homework assignment might not have been completed on time by the due date. And it's just a reminder for you and your keiki that there's something that needs to get finished. Also in KS Connect, you might see an assignment marked with an MI or an INC. If you see those, that's just an indicator that there's something that's got to get done. And so if we can ensure that those things are happening, we can ensure Haumana success. Another suggestion that we make to our families is put a limit on your child's laptop use. We understand that it's an educational tool, but we work pretty hard as a grade level to try and keep things manageable. We have office hours time at the end of each school day for students to work on homework. And if you're seeing that laptop use is becoming problematic and stuff like that at home, take the laptop out of the room, just put a stop, set a time limit as well, and communicate out to us. Reach out to Kumo Kalawai'a as well, and we can brainstorm some things. But because it's the first time many of these students have a laptop that's kind of their own, it can turn into this thing that starts to take over their lives. Yeah, and so be involved in that. Be involved in that and set some clear guidelines for your keiki. If you have any questions ever, all of us are very accessible. Shoot any of us an email or reach out to Kumo Kalawai'a and he will connect you to us as well. So he's kind of that bridge between you and the Kumu. And we're also very open to chatting with any of you at any time, any questions ever. Don't wait, just reach out. As no matter how silly the question might seem, I don't know what my kid's supposed to wear to school tomorrow. Doesn't matter. We've gotten all the questions and we are there to answer them for you. And then the final tip for success that we have, all Kumu are required to post their syllabi in Canvas. You may not receive a hard copy of those, going green and all that. We love taking care of our environment. So they're available digitally. So when you connect to your child's Canvas account, you'll be able to hop into our classes and see the syllabi. We'll also be reviewing those with Keiki in class. Okay, and then some odds and ends. KS Connect upload, we no longer have an 8-day rotation. So if you've had a child in middle school in the past, there's no more days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We now have just an A and a B. And so our upload now occurs every 2 weeks, typically the last day of the week. We've also moved over to a quarter system this year. So no more trimesters, we'll be on quarters, the quarter will end, and then we'll have a nice little break. So it'll match up with more of those DOE schedules. So if you have Keiki that go to multiple schools, it should look a little more similar. When it comes to late work, all late work is due the day prior to the upload date. The middle school policy is that any work submitted after the upload date automatically earns a 0. So it's really important to try and stay on top of deadlines and work within those 2-week windows, upload windows. And then if a student has late work, it's their kuleana to also email the kumu. Sometimes we don't get notifications that something's been submitted. And so it's best just to ensure that we're notified. They got to send an email to us when they submit late work. Adding in a link to a digital assignment is also super helpful. Okay. And then finally, and I see the question in the chat as well, all classes at the middle school are weighted. 20% of a child's grade is formative work. This is classwork and homework. These are assignments that are for learning. So as your child is learning new concepts and practicing new ideas in class, this is where kind of all of the regular learning occurs. If you recall back in the day when we were in school, a lot of worksheets and textbook work, a lot of that kind of stuff is going to be our formative work. It's forming what they know in class. The summative work, the 80%, these are things like our tests and our projects. This is where students get to demonstrate to us as kumu that they've learned the things that we taught them through those formative experiences in class. Yeah, and so because they're there to assess what the Keiki know, that's why they're worth a bit more, quite a bit more. Yeah, and so sometimes when you hop onto KS Connect, you might try to do the math and figure out your child's percentage and see that maybe the total points that they earned doesn't quite match up with the grade that you're seeing. And that's because of these weights. And unfortunately, KS Connect it's a great system, but it's not perfect and it's not able to read those weighting. We're moving to a new system next year and we're hoping it's going to be a bit cleaner. Yeah. So those are just some odds and ends. I'm sure there are other questions as well. We still got about 10 more minutes of back to school night. So I want to move into question time. If you have questions, you can type them in the chat, or if you're feeling extra brave, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask. And between our collective knowledge, hopefully one of us can answer that for you. I think we also have an administrator in here too. So if there's another question, we can help with that. Also, if you wanted to talk to your child's elective teachers or any of the specialists, you can move yourself into the main room and they should be there for you if you have questions about any of those things. Okay, so I will leave the chat or the microphone open for any questions. And if you have no questions and you feel makau to leave, we are just about done for the evening too. So if you have no questions, you can excuse yourself. We thank you for coming. And yeah, go ahead with questions. I must have done a good job. And of course, if something pops up later, please feel free to email any, oh yes, grading is in ABCDF format. Land School is actually a Kumu tool. So it's for us to see what's happening on a child's computer. So there's no need to get into Land School, but if there is a question about that, have your Keiki visit one of his kumu in school on Monday, and we'll see if we can get that fixed. But yeah, Land School students don't use Land School. It's for kumu to use. We're so happy to have had all of you tonight. And thank you so much for spending time with us. Okay, can I discuss parent-teacher conferences given the many number of... So we actually don't do parent-teacher conferences here at the middle school. One thing that we kind of converted to, we did learning showcases. And so instead of doing a typical parent-teacher conference, what we would do is give an opportunity for students to share out their learning with the COVID-19 and a lot of the different protocols that we have in place. Unfortunately, those things are not happening. So our team will be looking for ways to make sure that you as Ohana are able to see what your keiki are learning this year. But in terms of traditional parent-teacher conferences, we don't have those. If at any time, however, any Ohana is interested in sitting down with the kumu, you can reach out to Kumu Kalawai'a, and we are very happy to sit and discuss whether it's you want to inform us of something or you're noticing some things that you'd like to chat about. At any time, we're happy to set that up and meet virtually via Zoom. Or I believe we're able to meet on campus. I'm not sure. Admin can stop me. I don't want to make any promises. But yeah, definitely, we're happy to sit down if the need for a small group conference with Kumu arises.
Kumu Kainoa,
Hi.
there's a question in the chat that says, our son is on quarantine until next week, Thursday. Who is the best person to contact to pick up his laptop and get his work for the day's missed?
Awesome, I just saw that one. So Kumu Kalawai'a is going to be your point of contact, and he does have plans on Monday to reach out to Ohana that keiki are still not able to join us at school, and he'll be working on getting those laptop trainings taken care of and helping to get everything synced up. Our first 2 days of school were really just getting keiki familiar with their laptop, and then today was just going over some of the big picture things on campus, and we'll make sure to support any keiki that haven't been able to get to school yet when they're able to join us.
Okay, there's also a question about how do we know when different schoolwear is required? Chapel days, swimwear needed, etc.
Okay, so regarding chapel, you'll get announcements via the Student Life Canvas page, and that'll let us know when those chapel days are coming up. Swimwear, Mrs. Thompson is going over that with each of her PE classes, and I know she did share that a swim unit is coming up, and so as she meets with students, she is going to go over which days they should come to school in swimwear, and then when swimming ends, she'll let them know when to stop bringing their swimwear to school. But regarding things that are whole middle school, the Student Life Canvas page is the best place to be a part of it. And then if anything specific, for example, Mr. Tominaga needs students to bring their boots to school because they're going to be working in the mala or their rain gear, Kumu will communicate those expectations out to students with advance notice.
Kumu, I'll be brave and verbalize my question.
Mahalo, go ahead.
My daughter has allergies, and then I was actually corresponding with what's his name, Uncle the health nurse,
Uncle Carl.
Yes, Uncle Carl.
Okay.
And then, so we did everything. Everything was submitted and all that, but she has an EpiPen.
Okay.
So does that get carried with her, or you guys wanted to go to just keep it, because she has 2 EpiPens, one she can keep on her and one for school use. But when I talked to Uncle Carl, he said kind of let her, but there's really no, I mean, she'll keep it, or you think we should turn the other one into the health room, or can she take that to the health room herself, or do I need to drop it off at the health room?
That's a really good question. I know Mrs. Kalanio Pio, our vice principal, is here. Our Kumu Kalawai'a. I'm not sure if you guys know more about similar situations in the past, if you're able to address this question.
So Uncle Carl is now our high school nurse, and so we have a new nurse I would touch bases with her. If there's going to be an exchange of medication, it would have to be from the parent to the nurse. So the child cannot take the medication to the nurse. So if you're going to do the EpiPen and leave it at school, parent would have to do that transaction. I don't know if that's the right word. But maybe reach out to, her name is Kimi Katara, and our protocols and whatnot have been changing, like with all this COVID. So I would contact her, 0411 is her number. And I would she would be the best person.
920411, you said?
11. Yeah.
Aloha.
Yep.
Yeah, mahalo on that one. Yeah. Yeah, because I just don't want anything happening, and I mean, we did all the MAR and everything's all submitted and it's all pono. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys had because she does have 2 of them, and then I just don't want, you never know what can happen. So just wanted to make sure on that. It's kind of important. But mahalo.
Of course, thank you so much. Okay, I've got another question here in the chat asking for more information about swimsuit options, rash guard, and swim shorts. Okay, so for swimsuits, Mrs. Thompson did mention rash guards are totally fine to be worn over bathing suits for girls or for boys to wear. And then swim shorts are okay for girls to wear over their bathing suits as well. Is that correct, Mrs. Thompson?
Yes, and if you wanted to, we usually make them buy through the school store. I have some extra boys shorts, black shorts. So if people are in need of some, tell the student to come see me. I had a couple of students ask me today and I was so busy that I didn't help them. So whoever was asking for that, I did forget. So they can come see me, but I do have a few extras, and you kind of have more options where you can get them. And I do have some if you need help with that. So I would say just do your best to do black and solids, and the rash guards. Honestly, I am okay with whatever you can get, because there's not too many options for that. So yeah, just tell them come see me next week. Next week, the kids are able to use their their PE uniforms for PE days. Next week, we're doing fitness testing, and so they can do that. And I'll talk to them more and get the announcements out for them. And then I do have a schedule that it should be posted. It's, I believe, on the main site, that we have rotations of swim, and then a biking, running kind of unit every 2 weeks, and then a health unit every 2 weeks. And that 3 unit, they rotate. So every 2, it rotates around, and I'll give them the information for that. And I do believe it's on the Kelowna website.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Thompson.
Um,
Then I'm seeing a concerned student can't get onto Canvas. We're happy to assist on Monday morning and see if we might be able to troubleshoot in person. It's tough to pinpoint here and now without actually seeing the laptop. So I don't believe there's anything pressing that needs to be done. If there is a concern though, Mrs. Cordero is our tech, she's our HPK. I'll put her email address into the chat, but I'm not certain that she'll be able to get to any concerns over the weekend anyway. But we'll definitely make sure we get that squared away on Monday morning. Okay, so I saw another one regarding, oh, okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions are being addressed directly into the chat. So
in terms of the PE uniforms, Mrs. Thompson, you have a question. Are they to be worn all day or brought with the student to change into?
So because we don't have the locker rooms usage we'll have to kind of deal with that a little differently. They are allowed to wear their uniforms to school. And if they're a sweaty bunch, they can bring an extra shirt and change into it, but we're not going to have the showers available. And so they can kind of clean up in the bathrooms when they need to and bring an extra set of clothes. And obviously on swim days, they need to bring extra stuff to change into. So it's going to kind of be up to each person and how the person is sweatmeister, because that, some people want to bring extra clothes for that after PE, depending on what we do. So I can talk to the kids more as well. Next week won't be a big deal as far as that goes. So hopefully that answers your question.
Mrs. Kalanio Pio, would you be willing to address the question about how the specials run? How do the specials run?
Our specials are in a rotation, and so I believe it's every quarter they're going to be rotating with the different specials as well as our electives. So it's just on their rotation according to their cohorts.
Okay, and then I'm seeing a question about assignments marked as missing in Canvas with dates prior to to school starting. So for that, it's probably a technical error based upon the Kumu updating their Canvas this year. It's our second year with Canvas and our first year trying to bring in information from our last year classes into this year. So there are some glitches. Please know that we haven't even had our first actual classes with students yet. So there are definitely no missing assignments right now. That is a glitch, and we will be sure to get that cleared up when we get into school with students and get into our actual classes with students come Monday and Tuesday. Apologies for any discomfort that might be causing, but it's definitely an error. No Kumu have given assignments prior to the start of the school year.
Mrs. Thompson, there's a great question. It's about, is there any chance that Keiki can shower? Just remembering the feeling of feeling kind of junky and sweaty all day in school after PE.
We're not gonna, there'll be very few days that they're gonna get that sweaty when we're not gonna have time. We have no towel, you know, we used to have people wash our towels. We don't have that. So I would just suggest that they bring some stuff to kind of do I don't know, it's called a sponge bath, but we just don't work. I mean, we can talk more about it as the school year goes on. We just weren't offering that. We don't have the time. We don't have the resources. It might happen a few times due to weather, you know, the kids getting poured on or getting super sweaty. That is, you know, something we'll try to figure out as the year goes on. We have a little bit of time, but after swimming, they will have to be able to rinse off. So we have 3 weeks to try to kind of go through some of those situations. And most of my classes, the kids have a break right after. So that little break should be able to help with kind of those types of issues. If student desperately needs to shower, they'll obviously have to bring their own towel. So I think that will be more of an administration question as well. I'm just not sure, sorry.
Yeah. I think one of the things with our locker rooms, unfortunately, because we have 3 grade levels that share the locker room space, county guidelines don't really allow for us to have that many groups overlapping in the space. It's a really unfortunate thing that without building a new locker room in a short amount of time, we're not able to offer that service, unfortunately. And so our Kumu are doing the best that they can with the resources that we have. And we do understand that it is uncomfortable, but I can speak from years of experience working with Mrs. Thompson and the rest of the 6th grade team that we're gonna do our best to make sure every child is comfortable. And so if your child wants to bring an extra change of clothes and change after class in the restroom, we're happy to give them that opportunity. But just with the current guidelines, we're not able to let that many different groups of students into the locker room space because it is shared. Okay, and I'm seeing, I feel like I got most of the questions. If there, kids gonna have no lockers, unfortunately, that as well is something that we're not allowed to do based on COVID guidelines currently. If we are able to do that, we do have lockers available, but because it's requiring cohorts of students to intermix, just because of the way our lockers are set up on campus, we can't provide that service currently. And so we're trying to collect as many of the supplies as possible from students. Also, most courses here at the middle school don't have physical textbooks. It's very different from when we were in school all those moons ago. So hopefully bags are manageable. It's just the lockers, I mean, not the lockers, the laptops that provide the most weight, and those do have to go with Keiki to each class and then go home at the end of each day. It is a little past 6:30, and I do want to honor everybody's time, Ohana, Kumu, and the other staff as well. If you do have further questions, please reach out to any one of us, Kumu or Kumu Kalawai'a. Masks will be passed out on Monday. So your child will be getting some new face masks. Those will be sent home packaged and sealed for sanitation, and you'll get them, Keiki will get them Monday afternoon in office hours. Okay. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for all of your great questions. Again, if there's more, reach out. You can contact any of the kumu or kumu kalawai'a, and we're happy to get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great weekend, and we're so looking forward to this school year. Ahui ho kako. Good job, everybody. Thank you so much.
Mahalo, Kainoa.
Have a great
Great job,
weekend.
Kainoa.
Thanks, you guys.